You're listening to KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine.
The opinions and views expressed in this program do not reflect those of KUCI, its management, or the UC Board of Regents. To find out more about this talk show or other talk shows broadcasting on KUCI, log on to our website at kuci.org or check out the latest program guide.
This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at the Edgemar Center for the Arts in Santa Monica for the Rainbow Theater Company presentation of Danny and the Deep Blue Sea. Hi, I'm Ashton Marcus with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Carl Weathers.
And we all know you from Rocky, we know you from Happy Gilmore, we know you from Predator and all that. And I'm a big fan of yours, just had to say that.
Thank you very much. I'm so happy that you came tonight to watch this wonderful performance that the actors did, so thank you for being here.
Okay, and what did you do tonight?
We put on a presentation of John Patrick Shanley's Danny and the Deep Blue Sea. I was the director, and it starred Tana Frederick and Robert Stanley.
So question, of all the things you can be doing, you could either be working in the NFL as an analyst or you can be acting. Why do you want to direct?
Oh, wow. Why do I want to direct? That's a really, I've never been asked that question before. And I've been directing since '93. It was mainly in television. There is something about creation, and to take the words from what now is a screen very often, a laptop screen as opposed to paper, but to take words from an author's work and to somehow breathe life into it with actors, with performers, either on stage or in front of the camera. There's just something about that I just absolutely love. It's almost a compulsion to do that at this point in my life, and has been for a while. So why do I do it? It's just a calling, man. It's just, I want to do it,
Well, I saw your talent. I thought this was fantastic. It was a beautiful piece. Well, I loved it because it was very raw. It was almost like, it was almost an interpretation of what passion is. Well, question, what drew you to this piece anyway?
Well, first of all, John Patrick Shanley's work with such depth and so many different layers. And this particular piece of work, I was asked by Tana to direct it. And I'd never read it. I'd never seen the play before. But once I read it, I was interested. The second time I read it, I was really intrigued. And then to start rehearsals with them and see the potential, and to have two actors who have physicality in them, who have depth in them, who are not afraid to be passionate, that overused word raw, to be really raw, just became more and more of a kind of stamp that we could put on it, I guess, that maybe some other productions might not.
Again, I love the piece. I thought, again, it was like, if you ask someone what is love, what is passion, you get so many different answers. You almost saw a different language being spoken, a language of, say, someone from the lower working class, from the Brooklyn class. Yes. This was their interpretation of what passion is.
Well, it's interesting. Passion does not have to necessarily be about love. People are passionate about all kinds of things, and sometimes they're really destructive. But yes, they are passionate people. I think we all have that in us until somehow it's muted, or we're told that we should somehow bridle it, or even erase it from who we are as human beings. But if you notice, children can be very passionate about things and spend so much time doing the same task over and over and over all day, every day, whether it's painting, finger painting, building things with blocks, playing with Lego, flying their toy airplanes, digging in the sand, sculpting from the sand. I think we all have that in us, and to have these two characters essentially go off the rails with their passion, to me, is what Shanley kind of hints at. Two broken people who have the, I guess, good fortune to come together in this bar on one particular night and find each other. And perhaps because they both are looking for love, they're looking to redeem themselves from whatever their their crucibles are, I guess, whatever they're crawling around with on their backs, you know. They find each other and they're redeemed through this, you know. So it's you know, for me, it's just wonderful to have the opportunity to explore that.
One last question. What were you looking from your actors? What were you trying to get from them?
Oh, trust. Really, that's it. Trust. Trust themselves and trust me that I'm going to essentially do everything I can to showcase their talent, to make them look good. Good, not in the sense of what's the word? I didn't want them to look glamorous, for lack of a better word. What I wanted to do was show their souls, have them bare their souls. And that, to me, is glamorous. If you have the courage to do that, and you can really do that unabashedly, you know, that's what I was after. And I think they did a great job on achieving that.
I agree. I thought it was fantastic. I love the edge that was there. It was like a roller coaster ride, bringing you to the very edge and leaving you there for a while. Exactly. I just loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, well, thank you once again for being on the show.
All right, my pleasure.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Tana Frederick. I am right now in Danny and the Deep Blue Sea, which is at the Edgemoor Center for the Arts. And I've done several Henry Jaglom films and produced Defrost, which is a virtual reality narrative, and other films such as Garner, Iowa with Ron Vignoni.
And which character did you play tonight?
Roberta. Ooh, she's a tigress. she's a fighter. She's one of the sort of outcasts in society, but longing, her sense of longing and hope and need for love, and her need to hope is very palpable.
I love the piece. I loved your part in the piece too. It was very raw. It was very passionate. It's kind of like, describe to me passion. What is it? These people have a different version of what it is. They had the physicality, they had the voice, they had the movement behind it, and it just described just what gets you on edge.
These people were living, I think this is one of those where you can look at like the local flavor of the piece and the time at which it was written. John Patrick Shanley wrote this in late 70s, early 80s. This was John Turturro's breakout role. But the Bronx during that time was such a devastating place, and there was a lot of history that I looked at with the piece. When I looked at the photographs, you look at a lot of the desolation, and there was just rubble. The buildings were I mean, it was just a day-to-day struggle. There was so much violence, and so the fact that these two people fell in love in a bar, in this sludgy bar at the edge of nowhere, and just were able to let go of everything and still find hope, and like a bird singing, you know, is it says so much. And I think it's a timely piece because it's, you know, there's still like hopelessness and desolation with perhaps political arenas, you know, in this day and age, and people are still really reacting so well to this piece and reacting to the hope, and that's such a great feeling to know that we're doing something that people want, that light, people want that candle, metaphorically, still to be lit.
What you know, interesting thing about theater, it's like, you know, you look at TV, you look at movies, you kind of know what romance is. You know what it's going to be like. It's going to be boy meets girl, boy loses girl. They live happily ever after, you know, and it's going to be, a little bit, at times it'll be well done. A lot of music and all that. In theater, it's more edgy. This was a very interesting, this is not what you'd see on TV. It was more darker, it was more intense, but it also was not sexual. It was not fairy tale. It was very realistic. It's very, very well done.
Thank you so very much. Yeah, we were working with Carl Weathers was absolutely incredible, and I think he really demanded that it be very real, that it not be too sort of melancholy, that it not be too overdramatic, that it be right on point with being a very true story about two very real people, and he kept charting those waters for us and making sure that we were on point, and every time that we were a little tiny bit off, corrected us. He would really, this is his first theatrical debut, and he was amazing to work with in that sense, because he just got it ingrained into our muscles of, this is what we're going to do, and this is how you are going to do these characters, and I will keep running this until you guys have this into your muscle memory, like a sporting event.
Definitely love the piece. I love your part in it. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for coming and seeing and sharing in the love in the theater tonight.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
You're here with Robert Stanley. This is probably my 5th collaboration with Tana Frederick, my co-star, and Rainbow Films, Rainbow Theater. We've done The Rainmaker, we've done Jack and Jill. This one is one of the most realistic pieces. The great John Patrick Shanley, who won the Pulitzer Prize for Doubt. He wrote the screenplay Moonstruck. He's Joe versus the Volcano. He wrote and directed. Tom Hanks. He's just wonderful, and you get that combination mixed with Mr. Carl Weathers, which I was listening to some of what Tana was saying. This man is like, everybody wants him for daddy. This man, we called him Coach. He's like an Olympic trainer. He would sometimes make us do the entire play 2 times in a row, back to back, because, like his athletic self, he is himself. He says, I'm going to build the muscle inside of you two, as painful as this is right now. You're going to build this muscle to where when you do a show at night, you'll be tired, but you could just turn around and do it right again for another audience. It was incredible because it gave us a lot of stamina.
And which character did you play that?
I was Danny in Danny in the Deep Blue Sea. He was he's a loner. He's a loser, I guess, if you're going to use that word in today's vernacular. He was abused as a child, and so he has deep intimacy issues. And so other than having tender feelings, he communicates by swinging his fists. It's one of those, he's one of those thrill fighters, a street fighter. You go out and you're feeling so much self-loathing and self-hatred that you don't care if you break someone's teeth and break their face, or if they break yours. You're almost relieved if you get hurt because it takes away the mental pain of your self-hatred. He's one of those guys. So, but he's desperately craving love, and he just strikes out with women. He doesn't know how to relate to them. So he meets this, this single mother who's truly suicidal. I mean, she wants to die. She's just given up on life, and she has a kid. She's lost out on that. She's screwed up with that. And so she goads this guy in this seedy bar to basically attack her because she sees that he's violent, and he almost kills her. He almost strangles her, and she's screaming, yeah, harder. It freaks him out. He doesn't think she's really serious. He meets someone crazier than himself for once, and he's like, damn. And somehow you sit there and you get to this thing. When I read this is why I wanted to do it. You sit there at the end of this piece and you go, if those two people can make it in love, I know I can. It's ultimately very hopeful. It's very romantic, even though it's two outcasts of society. They're both just so self-defeating and so worn down by life that they've just both given up. But they see the similar quirks in each other and they go, damn, she can understand that kind of loneliness that I feel, and vice versa, to where we latch onto each other, and against all odds it works.
When I saw your character, I was thinking Marlon Brando's Streetcar Named Desire. What are your thoughts on that?
What a compliment. Listen, I'll tell you, as an actor, I don't have a lot of heroes, but I will say this. When I was probably in my 20s, I would take every Marlon Brando movie, his best, and I would literally watch them about 8 times because he's magic, and the magic would be there each. So what I did was I'd do each scene and stop it after the scene, rewind it, watch it again, rewatch this, and then I'd sit down on a legal pad and write the dialogue as I remember it, and then I would look at the dialogue and I'd go, holy crap, how did he come up with that line reading? I've got to get myself trained to where I start thinking like Marlon Brando does. And because I did that for like about 5 years, I'm not saying I'm on his level, I'm not stupid, but I will say this, it enhanced my acting to where when I'm on, I'm on. And it's mainly because of Marlon Brando. So when you say Streetcar, this guy's a bruiser like that. Some people say, you look like Bruce Springsteen up there, or they say, you remind me of Brando in Streetcar. I love it. Bring it on. I'll be the boss. I'll be Brando. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Also, again, one of the reasons I love this is when you look at theater, you look at romance. It's not, you see romantic comedy, obviously, but you also see intensity like this. You don't see this on TV. It's raw. It's emotion. It's almost like a foreign language of what passion is. What's passion? And then you get the movements, you get the facial expression, you get the raising of voices. I mean, this is about passion. What are your thoughts on that?
Something very specific. on the outset, Carl Weathers, basically, you know who he is. He's done film galore. He's Mr. Film and Television. But this is the first thing he's ever directed on stage. And he told us, he goes, people come to the theater not for simplicity and kitchen sink, because you can see that anywhere you turn on television or in a movie theater. He goes, people come to theater for a raw, visceral, explosive experience. And he directed this accordingly. And he goes, guys, even if you feel sometimes like it might be too much, he goes, if you ground that into your soul and you connect, you know, Robert, you connect to Tana fully, it's going to read and people are going to absorb it, and it's going to be explosive. As a result, the comments we've heard, the reviews we've gotten so far, it's really something. I've done a lot of theater, so I'm used to that energy. This one, I don't think I've ever had a play more difficult in my life, and I've done a lot of them. I once did a national tour of a one-man show where I played 25 characters. This play was still harder than that. That gives you an idea.
Once again, I love the piece. I love the visceralness. I love the interplay you had between Tanya. I love the direction. The scenes, everything about it. So, I thought you guys did a fantastic job.
You're very, very kind. Audiences have been very friendly, and we really appreciate that, because a lot of work has gone into this, and we're going to run. They're talking an extension already, and this is something I think people should see, and not just because I'm in it. Although, hey, I'll go ahead and take that. But this is something, because I see a lot of theater, and this is truly, there's our word again, a visceral experience, and it's something you can get it in some films, but most films are too kitchen sink, you know. Anyway.
Yeah. Once again, I really loved it. Thank you very much for being on the show.
My absolute pleasure, and thank you again.
Danny and the Deep Blue Sea will be playing at the Edgemar Center for the Arts in Santa Monica from July 1st to September 10th. For more information, go to www.edgemarcenter.org. This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Sacred Fools Theater for their presentation of Any Night.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
My name is Elizabeth Newman. I'm the director of Any Night. We had our opening night Los Angeles premiere this evening. It's very exciting.
You're relatively new to this area. I know all the theater groups. Could you tell me a little bit about your group?
Sure. So the Filigree Theater is actually a theater company based out of Austin, Texas. And part of our company's mission is to the company's mission is, it's called Filigree, which comes from seed and thread, and part of our company's mission is to forge connections between Austin and the theater communities and theater makers in Los Angeles and in New York. So with this show, Any Night, after we had our Austin premiere, we've brought it to Los Angeles.
So what do you look for in your casting?
I love working with actors who are willing to challenge themselves, who are willing to collaborate and work with me as the director and find the moments. In Any Night, we worked on different levels. Because it's a psychological thriller, there are plot twists and turns, and so we played a lot with what does the audience know at certain points, and how can we let other things that are still to be discovered by the audience bubble up. So giving almost little hints at moments, a mask slips, a moment pops out. Particularly Zach Thomas's character, Patrick, is working on many, many different levels. So working with actors who are able to sort of exist in different planes, performance-wise.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the piece. Well, I enjoyed the piece. I thought it was abstract in the sense that depending on your mood, depending on how you perceive it, it's like a Rorschach test. You look at this thing, it depends a lot about what you are. That actually tells you what the story is.
It's true. That's something that really drew me to the story. I remember when I first read it, on page 1 of Daniel and Medina's script, it said that the setting was limbo. And for me, that allowed us to have some flexibility to really create a world that's a dream space. The play is about the merging of what's real and what's a dream, and what is in our minds. And so having
being able to create a playing space that has that flexibility to create sort of a fever dream. And we really tapped into that for each aspect of the production, the set design, the sound design, the performance-wise of wondering which reality we are in and sort of whose reality, and the audience too. There's been some really interesting conversations happening after the show the story is coherent, but it leaves space for personal interpretations, yeah, that's part of the joy of it.
Also notice there was a lot of dancing. I'm not used to seeing theater pieces of this type with this much dance into it.
Yeah, that's one of the really exciting parts about the show is because the character of Anna, played by Marie Falgren, is a dancer and she suffers from sleepwalking. That's not a spoiler alert, we learned that pretty quickly. We really took the opportunity to create not just dance in the sleep lab that she's in, but to find moments. Erica Gianfrido is our choreographer and a modern dancer and modern dance choreographer, to find moments of using dance and movement to help tell the story and help create on stage the transitions between these shifting realities.
So question, again, going with the theme of this show, if you were in a relationship and you weren't sure you can trust the person, and it might just be circumstances, how would you feel about it? What would you do?
Well, it's a pretty terrifying situation. One thing that we've discussed a lot in the rehearsal room was the whole notion of gaslighting, from the Ingrid Bergman film named Gaslight, about how harrowing it is when somebody else tries to craft and alter your own perception of reality. When you begin, I think one of the most frightening things is when you start to question your own sanity and your own judgment and your own way of understanding the world. When somebody alters that for you, and somebody finds ways of manipulating that, or also being in a state like sleepwalking, where you are somewhere. It's a state of being somewhere between asleep and awake. So you yourself can't trust your own senses. And in the play, the character of Anna finds ways to try to wake herself up out of a sleepwalking state, to do her own sort of reality testing. There's a repeated gesture in the play where she breathes out on a mirror and puts her finger through the breath on the mirror to test if what she's experiencing is actually real, or if it's actually a dream or a nightmare.
Yeah, I have actually did a little research on gaslighting, because again, it was based on a movie. If my viewers aren't familiar, it's basically when someone says something that's basically a lie to you and gets you to believe it. Like, for example, they might say like, well, no, I'm not cheating on you. No, I'm not cheating on you. It's just all your imagination. And keeps repeating it over and over, even though he really is cheating on you. And he just keeps repeating over and over, and eventually you start believing that he's not, and he's just manipulating you. And it's actually one of those things in which, well, I basically read on the internet, you should actually leave that person immediately if you're not in a committed relation. Even if you're in a committed relation, you should just leave that person, because there's so many people out there and all that, and it destroys you psychologically too.
It does. There's in situations like that, there is a process of eroding that happens, and it's something that is part of emotional and psychological abuse, is actually gaslighting or manipulation of taking reality away from a person, or taking their own sense of self and their own sense of it's a highly manipulative tactic.
Okay, well, again, I did enjoy the piece. I really enjoyed the piece, and again, I thought it was different from a lot of other pieces I've seen, and I thought the actors did it quite well.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I'm so proud of them. Zach and Marie have been working. It's been great. We did the Austin premiere of this back in the fall, and before that we workshopped it for a theater festival in Austin. So it's wonderful. This is the Los Angeles premiere is our third iteration, and it's been great to have this piece because it's a difficult show to do. They go to extreme places emotionally, but to have the opportunity to let this piece marinate for a while and sink sort of deeper get into the characters. It's been a joy to work on with them.
Once again, I really enjoyed myself. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Zach Thomas. I am from Butte, Montana. I currently reside in Austin, Texas. I'm an actor and technical director down there. My latest work was in John in Austin, and I am currently performing in Any Night, Los Angeles. I play Patrick. Patrick could be one of two things. I think that Patrick is really a nice, kind person at heart. I think that he fumbles a bit and he's a little awkward, but I think that he tries to be genuine and he's, hoping to take care of Anna.
I was very intrigued by this piece. First of all, again, if my viewers came by and saw this, they could take it two ways. Either, one, that he was a really nice guy, or two, that he wasn't a very nice guy. He was a terrible guy. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that the play offers up more questions than it gives answers, and I think that it's intended that way. I think that it's a cerebral piece, and it's asking questions about trust in the modern world, in a world of technology. Like we need to kind of look at everyone suspiciously in one light, but we also have to still be able to hold on to that human trust.
I loved your acting. I thought you were fantastic. You covered multiple characters. Again, you covered a villain and a hero at the same time. Depths in which you went from left to right at the same time.
I think that it was a lot clunkier on our first run, and little by little it's gotten a lot cleaner and better knowing those two people more and more intimately. And so now I feel like they're both kind of full-fledged guys, and it's really nice to be coming here with that confidence.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
I think they're coming in for a cerebral drama that is very art house. I think that they're going to come and see a type of theater which they're unaccustomed to. It's going to be mixed with, beautiful media and tech, beautiful choreography, and high drama. And it clips along. I mean, it's a very cinematic, filmic piece, so I think it's going to play really well in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Once again, I really enjoyed myself, and I really loved your performance tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Marie Falgren. I am an actress based out of Austin currently, and I am currently performing Any Night in Los Angeles right now, running for 3 weeks. I play Anna. Anna is kind of a troubled soul. She's in a part, we meet her when she's transitioning in her life, kind of looking for answers. She's at a point where she can't quite trust herself because she's a sleepwalker, and she's constantly asking herself what is a reality and what is not a reality. And she's always walking the line between the truth.
Yeah, I was actually intrigued by this piece. It all depends on your mood, whether you're cynical, whether you're optimistic, whether you've been in a bad relationship or not. It all depends on, I guess, on yourself, what you take out of it. Would frame your opinion of the piece.
I hope that the audience walks the line with Anna. I hope that they're following her right along the way. Some nights I feel more optimistic as Anna, and some nights exactly like I feel a little more dark, and it's kind of whatever. It's her again tipping on one side of the line or the other. I just hope if it's well done, the audience will walk the line with us. So yeah.
I asked this of the director about gaslighting. What's your opinion of gaslighting? If you're in a relationship with someone and you're not sure if you can trust them, you don't know. I mean, they may be hiding something from you. What would you do?
God, what is that test? Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, that is something. How do you know you can trust someone? And that's what Anna asked. Like, how do you know? Unfortunately, I feel like it's just something you have to keep living through. And I mean, listening Another thing, I guess, is Anna, she figures out she listens to herself. She listens to her subconscious, and that's what her sleepwalking is telling her. So I guess trusting yourself. If you feel if you feel it in your gut that it's not good, you need to listen to it. Yeah. Maybe, yeah.
Well, I really enjoyed the performance tonight, and I really enjoyed your performance.
Thank you
very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Any night, we'll be playing at Sacred Fools Theater from July 13th to July 30th. For more information, please go to www.evnproductionsatx.com.